Welcome to the Pit Stop Ranch, where we're obsessively collecting tools for 25 years. Now, one of the tools that I have been yearning for, lusting after, having inappropriate thoughts about for a long time has been a bead roller. And of course, the one I really want is $2,500, motorized, you know, on a stand, takes up lots of room, which I don't have. And the $2,500 I shouldn't spend yet, right now. So, I did the right thing, and I went ahead and went to Eastwood and bought their hand-operated bead roller. It's here in this box. And here in a moment, we're going to go ahead and do an unboxing because we know how popular those are, right? Unboxing videos. You know, I did one before with the scales. No one watched it. But now you can watch me unbox this because we've got, like, you know, 12 more regular viewers than we did back then. Anyway. I've bought Eastwood stuff before, actually. Their paints and body sealers are actually top shelf. This shrinker, or stretcher shrinker that I have set up with shrinker dies is, this is an Eastwood unit. And I've had this 10 years, I think. It's a good unit. It works very well for me and I'm happy with it. Very happy with it. The only thing I would want differently from it is I want the deep throat shrinker stretcher combination as opposed to the shallow one. But, you know, live and learn. I didn't, you know, in the course. So, when the time came and got to a point where bead roller just something that really kind of need to have for the next project on Jimmy, went ahead and ordered this turkey up. With another set of dies which are back ordered and I might see sometime before my retirement. Came out to about 300 bucks, so pretty reasonable. So let's go ahead and get into unboxing. Yay. Well, every single unboxing video that I've seen, all, you know, 0.12% of the two videos that someone has sent me, it is always an over-the-shoulder shot when they do the actual cutting. Don't know why. That seems to be the cliche. So, you know, who am I to go against tropes? You know, they're a trope for a reason, right? There's a reason for it. All right. Instructions, otherwise known as the disclaimer saying using this will kill you, don't use it. Oh, and this is how you put it together. Actually, there's not as many warnings in here as you would expect. And the assembly is exactly what you would expect. Take it out of the box, put it in the vise, start using it. Yay. Styrofoam. The handle, the crank handle fits on here. And there you go. That's everything. This Eastwood bead roller setup. This unit is rated for up to 18 gauge steel or 16 gauge aluminum and is obviously hand operated. Mounts in a vise, or you can bolt it onto something. Let's see. And it's kind of basic minimalist setup for doing sheet metal forming if you want to do beads and rolls. And I have shown you a little bit how to do it without said items, but now we got a basic sheet bead roller. Let's start rolling some panels out. And this is right here the reason why we got the bead roller. We replaced the outside cowl panel, and we noticed a little light shining through here, and we've been trying to figure out what to do about it. But looking at it, the damage is such that we really need to replace it. It's a little too far gone just to schmutz it up with angel hair and call it good enough. So we need to make a replacement panel through here, and need to roll in these here, and seems like this is the right size here. So next step is going to go ahead and make this panel. First step's going to be go ahead and put this down, cut it in, mark where the beginnings and ends of each one of these is, and the spacing. And then what I'll need to do is I'll need to gently work these, stretch these areas, so that when comes time to actually run it through the stretcher, it doesn't warp, and it won't warp and mess up the panel at all. So to find the center for each bead roll, I measured and used a punch to create a mark through the paper onto the steel, and then I connected the dots. Here's me using my pathetic little English wheel in its intended purpose, not as planishing, but to work the area to stretch the steel. This needed to occur so that when I bead-rolled it, it didn't massively warp the panel. And you can see it is warping the panel currently. Now it's pushing up in the wrong opposite direction, and to do it again, I should have marked the ends on the opposite side before doing it. Here I am doing the first bead, multiple process of loosening and tightening, and then cranking down on the handle and tightening it back up again, and then running it back and forth, trying to keep the it in the same groove. Here's the finished panel after I went ahead and did all four. I wasn't perfectly aligned each time, so a little bit of weirdness to it and a little bit of waviness because it was overstretched. There's a little better view of it after I did a little bit of straightening. Well, and there you have it. Our first our unboxing of the Eastwood vice mounted bead roller, and our first project with it. Turned out pretty good. There's a little more shaping and trimming I need to make on it, and then before it's ready to go in, but everything lines up. I think it turned out pretty good. I overstretched it a little bit here as I initially, so it's created a little bit of a ripple in it this way, but overall I'm quite pleased with it. It's definitely demonstrated that for tools that aren't massively expensive, you can save a lot of money by being able to do your own panels. Now, a more rigid bead roller, or let me follow up my opinion on the bead roller itself. It is very serviceable. And this is the maximum thickness material that it is rated to, 18 gauge mild steel. What I noticed is it's not, this thing flexes a fair amount, and so it's going, it twists this way, and which make it a little more difficult to keep it lined up as you're feeding the material through it. And you're sitting there and you're cranking here and then trying to guide it here. It would be easier as a two-person operation than the one-person operation, but I wanted to try it primarily as a one-person operation because you don't always have the luxury of an assistant available when you're trying to work on this stuff. So, and I think therein lies the advantage why you would pay $2,500 for, or $3,000 or $4,000 or whatever you pay. You're getting a stronger, more rigid, motor operated with a foot control, where you got throttle control, where you got speed control. When you start adding those features, and you know, US made, I believe for the most part this is an import. A lot of these pieces are import, and I don't know if Eastwood does the final assembly here in the US or they have it assembled overseas. I believe the dies, these dies seem to be really high quality hardened steel, tool steel. So there's no apparent damage on them. A little bit of slop here I'm just noticing, and that has to do with the tightness of these set screws. I thought I torqued them down, but they seem to have loosened up a little bit, so I'll have to see about that. So my impression is, for what I paid, it's a good tool. Am I going to go ahead and spend the money and get a much bigger, more rigid, more powerful one? Yes. This will do what I need it to do for the next 2 or 3 years. So from that regards, it'll work. And again, made this panel here. Really, honestly, just took a couple hours to make it. I'm gonna go ahead and make the other panel. I probably won't film that simply because, you know, once you've seen it. But overall, I'm stoked. I'm happy with the outcome. It's a good first panel, good project, first project with it. Especially since it's in the kick, it's a kick panel, so you know it's not going to be as visible or as obvious as some other potential projects. Yeah, there you go, in a nutshell. So remember, we are professionals, just not at this. So go ahead and feel free to leave a comment and discuss some of the hacks that you might make to this thing to maybe make it a little better. That might actually be a video coming up here pretty shortly. How to stiffen this up and make it a little more rigid. And I look forward to hearing some of your ideas. And I will see you next video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course share with your friends and family. And I'll see you next time.